Hello everyone and welcome back. I know we've done some holiday history timelines before with Christmas, and I thought it might be fun to do some Halloween themed and fall themed things as well, pulling decorating ideas from historical documents or historical fads or the origin stories of some of our favorite things that we do. One of the most amazing origin stories dealing with Halloween is the jack-o'-lantern. We're all used to seeing the jack-o'-lantern, but it actually starts as a jack-o'-lantern radish. So I thought I'd tell you the story and how all this got started, and we'll carve a radish together. Who thought you'd ever hear that? So here we go. So the first thing we need to do is core out the radish. Now, I went ahead and did this because it was a little time consuming, but not bad at all. I hate carving pumpkins and dealing with the pumpkin guts and the seeds. This was so easy. It was, I just used a regular tablespoon and cored it out. It looks very much like shredded coconut, and this little radish, all I did was empty it into this teacup. So it is so much easier to clean, and I would think moms would enjoy that to where their kitchens aren't ruined. I did left the walls pretty thick because I want it to dry out and retain its shape. I picked this radish because it has these two little indentions here, and I kind of thought they looked like eye sockets, and then we can carve the mouth down below. Now, as we do this and as we work on this, I want to tell you the origin stories of the radish jack-o'-lantern. Now, of course, with everything in history, everyone wants to claim the origin of certain things. They want to say that it was their idea. So I'm not going to get into who started the radish, who gets credit for that and who doesn't, because the Irish want to claim it, the English want to claim it. Of course, it goes back to pre-Christian pagan days. Everything we do today predates Christianity, especially with Christmas. Halloween and Christmas historically were much more similar in holiday celebrating. It all goes back to the idea that the film between the two worlds, the living world and the afterlife, is thinnest at certain times of the year when the seasons change, and around Halloween, and again at Christmas, and that at Christmas you can more easily communicate with the dead. Seances were popular, and a lot of things that we today think of as being very Halloween oriented are actually a lot more Christmas oriented. But my favorite origin story of the jack-o'-lantern comes from this guy who was named Jack. And Jack kept messing with the devil, and Jack kept playing the devil really and getting what he wanted from the devil. And then he'd say, "Oh devil, if you'll become a coin and go in my pocket, I'll carry with you always." And the devil would, and he'd put him in his pocket with a cross, and therefore the devil couldn't do anything because the silver cross prevented the devil from turning back into the devil and doing anything about it. So the devil made a deal with Jack that he would leave him alone until he died, and then he'd take his soul to hell. And Jack was like, okay, deal. So he let the devil go, and the devil came back to get Jack's soul, and Jack convinced him that he was trying to get some fruit out of a tree, and he convinced the devil that he needed some help getting this fruit and that they could share it. And if the devil climbed up the ladder and got in the tree, he would share this fruit with him. So a little Adam and Eve-esque there, I think. But the devil did. He climbed up the tree, got the fruit for Jack, and while he was up there, Jack carved a cross into the stump of the tree so that the devil couldn't get down. And the devil was trapped there and couldn't take Jack's soul for several more years. And when Jack died, the devil wouldn't let him in hell because he made him so mad, and God wouldn't let him in heaven because he made so many deals with the devil. So Jack got stuck as a ghostly figure, a spirit, and was forced to roam the world looking for forgiveness. And he was giving a small lantern made out of a radish. And so they would tie these radish lanterns to a stick and kind of be like a flashlight. But Jack really just made everybody mad and was playing everybody. And so these little radish lanterns became known as, or the story associated with him became known as Jack of the Lantern. And over the years, the of disappeared, and then we just stuck with Jack O' Lantern. And this is my favorite origin story of the Jack-o'-lantern story because it's just something that seems very believable and something that seems very plausible. A lot of our, myths and legends tend to get a little bit out of hand and a little unbelievable, but for some reason to me this just really seems like something that you might hear of. Now what I'm using is I stole one of my dad's little screwdrivers, and this is not as hard as a pumpkin is to carve, so you don't have to use sharp instruments. I really think that this would be a great project to do with kids. I'm barely using any force and just chunking little bits out. I did the eyes already. And the idea of these is they dry out and survive. And I'm going to include some examples of that in the video of, there's one in the Irish Heritage Museum that's lasted since 1902, I think it is. So that's just crazy. But I'm just going to carve out some teeth. Now pumpkins, of course, today we associate pumpkins with jack-o'-lanterns. And when people started coming over to America and they discovered pumpkins, they thought, wow, these are great. We'll make jack-o'-lanterns out of these. And then the radish and turnips, people use turnips as well, idea of this old tradition dating all the way back to medieval times or before, kind of falls out of fashion as people turn to pumpkins. And today we have our pumpkin jack-o'-lanterns. There's many other origin stories of the jack-o'-lantern out there. You can Google those if you're interested. I just kind of focused on some of the ones that I thought were the most interesting. What's really great about this too is depending on the size of the tool that you're using, you could get really detailed in this. It's up to you how detailed you want to go. I'm just going to do some teeth. I'm kind of trying to make mine look like the one that's the historic example online. My turnip should have definitely signed up for the dental plan. He needs some dental work done, but that's part of the joy of jack-o'-lanterns, right? You got to let some light out. Now, people would put these on their porches to ward off the evil spirit of Jack of the Lantern, or any evil spirits as the mythology changes and evolves over the years. But I would love to know in the comment section what your origin story is. Does your family have a tradition revolving around the Jack of the Lantern? And are you like me and never want to say Jack-o'-lantern again and only call them Jack of the Lanterns? Because I think that sounds so cool, and gives us a story behind it instead of just carving a pumpkin and putting it on the porch. What's cool about these radishes too is they don't deform as quickly as the pumpkins do. So if you want them to last a little bit longer, like I said, there's one in a museum in Ireland that's lasted since 1902. So they're not going to just turn into mush. They're not as big, of course, but they really start looking kind of like shrunken heads after a while. So I'm not going to do much more on mine. Of course, everybody's entitled to their own creativity. But I'm going to leave mine about like that and let it dry, and I'll put a candle in it tonight when it's dark and see what it looks like and maybe carve a little bit more on it. But I carved this radish. This is the mess that's left. It can all fit in a teacup. No messy hands, no gagging from the grossness of the inside. So I think that this would be a great activity to do with kids. I used a rather blunt instrument and was easily able to poke through to it. So let me know what you guys do if you decide to make a jack-o'-lantern out of a radish or a turnip. Please post a picture of it on Instagram and tag me at the Southern Antiquarian in it so I can see what you created. If you like this idea and you want to do some more historic Halloween decorating themes, I think we might do some corn husk dolls and maybe do a table setting together based on a historical picture. But let me know what you guys would like to learn. And thank you for following. Thank you for subscribing if you're subscribed. And thank you for your support, guys. Let's get ready for some Halloween.